Shalom, guys. So today I wanted to just share some words. You can like it, you can love it, you can hear it, you cannot hear it, but I feel like it needs to be said. And I didn't feel like typing it because I'd be, go away, baby. Blessing, go away. Because it would take me all day to type it, and I don't feel like giving you that much of my time. So I'm gonna do it in a live video, and like I said, hear it again. But there's this concept or premise that men should go to Africa to get their women because women in America are hoes, and women in America don't know how to shut up, and women in America don't know how to respect a man. Women in America, black women, sorry, let me correct that. Black women in America don't know their place. They don't know how to keep a man. They don't know how to hold it down. Black women, black women, black women, black women, black women, black women, black women. And you know what? I'm not even going to argue that point. I will say to some degree that some of those things, a lot of those things are true. It is fact. We can look at statistically, the black home is broken. We can look at statistically, black women are the most to get abortions. We can look at statistically that when they do their little surveys, I don't know who they're surveying because I've never been surveyed before. So whenever they have these surveys, I really don't know how they're picking their surveys. But anyways, when surveys, they say that black women are the least favorable. And on the surface, you can easily agree with all of these things without looking at the root of any of these problems, right? So on the surface, all these statistics are correct. But let's look at the fact that Planned Parenthood is mostly put in poor neighborhoods, right? So a woman's ability to go to a Planned Parenthood, where most of the abortions are happening, are for poor black people and not for white people. White people will go to the hospital and they'll get an abortion if they're going to get one. And that stuff is covered. When you have money, that stuff's not put out. When you look at the college scandal, these girls and boys that were going to college off of their parents' credentials forever. But let the black mom that was homeless, who's using her friend's address in a white neighborhood to put her children in a better school, that's all over the media. She's in jail for 5 years because she wanted her child to have a better education. But when a white parent doesn't, it's okay. When a black parent doesn't, it's wrong. But anyways, that's not my point either. I don't want to get off topic. So, like I said, on the surface, all of these things are correct. But the men that make these arguments never, at no point in time do they ever state their flaws. And the Bible clearly tells us to take the beam out of your own eye before you point out the mote in your brother's eye. Ask Brittany. Go ask Mari to get you some. So without pointing out the mote in their own eye. You never hear a brother say, yeah, we got some things to get together. A lot of times I see that the men that use this word in that fashion, that they think that because they read the Bible that they know everything. And I will tell you, and anybody who has a college education, book knowledge does not equate to practical knowledge. What you learn in a textbook does not mean you understand real life. When I went to school and I studied child development, what I learned in a textbook about being with children, about raising children, about child's development, yada, 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 what I learned in a textbook had nothing to do with when I went to work in a classroom. When I was in a classroom, they don't tell you about a child who's throwing a chair across the room. They don't tell you how to deal with that. You got to learn that by yourself. And so that's what I say. Textbook knowledge does not equate to practical application. So because these men read the Bible, they think that they are all-knowing stewards of Yah's word and they got it all put together, as if the women that are in this truth are not reading the same Bible. Because if that was true, the same women who are reading this Bible, these women that you are teaching Would they not conform? Would they not preform the way that the men deem fit, right? But we clearly see that that's not happening. So why is it that you can say, as a man, I read the Bible and I'm doing perfect, but then the women read the Bible and they're not? So anyway, so here's my point. This is why it is insulting for a man that was born in America, raised in America, to say women in America are not enough. Women in black women in America are not enough. Black women in America are poor. Black women, I'm not teaching, so I'm expounding, but praise y'all. So black women in America are bad. Black women in America aren't worthy. Black women in America are whatever you want to say. And we're not going to argue. We're going to say all those things are true. But the fact of the matter is, black men in America are just as bad. The same women who are bashed and beat on are sometimes abused by these same men that are complaining about them. The fact of the matter is that we are in a war zone. Black Americans, we're just gonna, I know Hebrew, Israelite, whatever, blah, 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 seed of Abraham, we're not gonna go there. We're just gonna be just plain. So black Americans, right, are in a war zone. We have been at war since we got here. We are still at war. Now, please explain to me how a woman in a war zone is supposed to behave. Because these women who are kidnapped by Boko Haram, I'm guaranteeing you they are not dainty. These women who are getting sold into slavery, I'm guaranteeing you they're not dainty. These African women who are getting sold into slavery. When you are being raped and robbed and pillaged and murdered, when you watch your father be kidnapped, when you watch your father be killed, when you watch your brothers die, when you watch your uncles, when you watch your whole world be destroyed, please tell me, please, I'm asking you, tell me how you expect a woman to be dainty. So all the things that you say about black women in America, they are true to an extent. But why are they true? Because we have been in a war zone. So for a black woman who has been in the trenches with her brother, and a lot of times we are on the front line, it is no secret that black women get out here on these protests. No point in time do black men say, no, woman, don't get out on these protests with us. No, go home and take care of it. Let us fight these wars. Let us be in the street. Let us stand up against cops. No, you guys are quick and ready to have us on the front lines with you. And we are more than willing and welcome to want to be on the front lines with you, right? So we're on the front lines with you. We're in the trenches with you. But yet, when you see the results of a black woman in America being in the trenches and a black woman in America being at war, you say, you know what, she's broken and I no longer want her. I'm going to go to another country and get this other melanated sister because you know what, she's not broken. You know what, she hasn't had all the turmoil and things that the black woman in America has had. And you know what? I don't want to deal with the black woman in America. Well, you know what, brother? And if you don't want to listen to me, I don't care. I really don't care. Because this is to empower my sisters. You, being in the trenches, whether you like to admit it or not, have just as much psychosis going on as the black woman. That's why they say, be his peace, right? Because he's got to go to war. Be his peace. Do you think that PTSD does not affect you? They have proven that black people suffer from PTSD. So y'all think that y'all are what? Y'all just don't get it? You think that you're just immune to PTSD? You think you're immune to what's going on in America? And here's why I can say this so strongly, because I don't live in America anymore. And I'm not saying that to toot my own home, because it's not because of me. 100% it's not because of me. But I can guarantee you that every black American that is in this country with me goes through the same thing of detoxifying. You have to detoxify from all of America's crap. You realize when you get here that at some point in time you weren't living in America. and you come here and you have all these bad American habits, this untrust, this hate, this just, it's just like this dark cloud, right, that follows. You have all these things when you first come here. And then at some point in time, the light clicks on, and you wake up, and you're like, why do I still function like this? I'm not in America. I don't have to deal with these things. And you begin to live, and you start to shut off all the, I call them scales, right? You start to shut off all the scales. And I watch it for Black Americans to come here every single time. And every one of us have the exact same testimony. And sometimes you realize what you're going through, and you realize, you know what, I'm no longer in the trenches. I don't have to act. I don't have to walk around with my AKA, my proverbial AKA 47 on my side, because I don't have to worry about somebody dropping a bomb or any enemy invasion. And so you realize, let me go put that away. And then you realize you never have to pick that up when you live outside of America. And people who have lived outside of America and go back to America realize how much of a trap that is. But again, that's not my point. I'm just telling you why I feel that I have the knowledge enough to say what I'm saying. So anyways, so these men think that they don't have this psychosis, right? And so they feel like, you know what, I'm going to go to Africa to get these women who do not have the psychosis that I'm used to, without taking into account that some of the psychosis that Black women face are from the Black man, right? Without realizing the fact that we've been in the trenches with you guys, without taking into account the fact that a man that runs from a problem, to me, is, you can go. I'm not really interested in you anyways. Because that's a man that doesn't want to put up a fight. That's a man, and not a fight in a sense that a woman's going to be fighting him, but they don't want to work hard. Having a Black woman from America is hard work, right? But you never see these other nations. You never see an Asian man saying, you know what, I'm going to go get another woman from another nation. You don't see these African men saying, and I'm not even saying a Black woman, just saying another woman from another nation. You never see these African men saying, I'm going to go get a woman from another nation, right? They stay within their nation. And you're stupid to think that Asian women don't cause problems for their husband, or Asian men, or that Black African women don't cause problems for their husbands, or that Indian women from India don't cause problems for their husband. But these people have loyalty. So you're never going to hear about it, right? To think that, a Muslim woman, that they don't cause problems for the husband. That's just life. That's just fact. People are different, and people have issues, and cultures have issues, but they're loyal. But there is no loyalty in Black Americans. And so that's why Black men are so quick and easy to say, you know what, Black woman, black. But if you ever can talk about somebody else, but you can never look introspectively and talk about yourself, then you already know that you're the problem. So, going back to my point, Black men go over here to Africa, right? Because they don't want to work hard for the woman that's been in the trenches with them, right? And most people, that's what they do, right? You got a man that's been busting his butt, trying to get famous, trying to do whatever, trying to be NFL, trying to be a doctor. You have the woman that's stuck by their side and went through all their dramas, helped them study, do whatever, right? And then when they get famous, when they hit that pinnacle, what do? They get rid of the woman that's been with them the whole time, that worked with them, that struggled with them. They get rid of that woman, they go get them a trophy wife, right? We see it all the time. And so that's what these Black men in America are doing, right? They see this Black woman who's fought with them, who's been in the trenches with them this whole time. They get to where they think, keyword think, they think they're at this pinnacle, right? And then they say, you know what? I'm ready to go get my trophy wife. I'm ready to go get the woman I done beat, abused, robbed, stole, pillaged, plundered these women, and now I'm ready to go get a trophy wife from Africa, right? When they get to Africa, they are paying dowry. These same men who said they would not pay dowry for a woman in America go to Africa and pay dowry. You know why? Because these women grow up with their fathers, their brothers, and their uncles. And when you respect something, it's because you work for it. You see with your children, if you give them, and things all the time, they have no respect for it. People have respect for things when they work for things. So these men that go to Africa to get a wife, they respect their wives because they have paid a dowry. And you can say, well, women in America don't deserve a dowry because they're hoes, which that's not true. Not every woman in America is a hoe, right? But even for women who you will constitute as hoes, what if she was a hoe, but her father still required a dowry out of you? Would you pay it? I guarantee if you wanted her, you would pay it. But either the woman doesn't have a father in her life because of the war zone that Black Americans are in America, right? Either he's dead, he's a deadbeat, or he's in prison, right? Or if she does have a father, he has no understanding of what dowry is. So you say, Whitney, who are you to tell me? Okay. Who's in the kitchen? Come get Zari and take her to Kamari and tell him to get her something to eat. Everybody say hi to Zahara. Say hi, Mamash. Say hi. Take her to Kamari and tell him to get her something to eat. Go. Carry her. Okay, so Whitney, what's your pedigree, right? Go, Nava. Go. Carry her. Tell her to take her to Kamari. What's your pedigree, right? I went straight from my father's house into my husband's house. Do you think my father asked for a dowry? No, my father had no idea what a dowry is. I don't even know if my father had even ever heard that word, right? But I guarantee you that if my husband had paid dowry for me, right, and my father understood the point in dowry, and my father understood the point of lineage, I guarantee you my husband would have treated me with a little more respect. I don't have any brothers, and I've got one uncle, right? But if we had a family structure that protected women the way these women needed to be protected, a lot of these women wouldn't be out there in the street. Because let's not forget that most of these Black women, ask them, have they ever been raped? Was their first experience when they were under the age of 15? And was it rape? I guarantee you a lot of them are going to say yes. So do you understand the psychosis that comes from being 7 and being molested by your father? Do you understand the psychosis from being 3 and being molested by a friend, uncle, whatever? Do you guys understand what's happening to these women that you are berating and saying are trash? Do you understand the years of baggage and drama that we have gone through as a people? And then you look at us and you say, you know what, you're too much work. Yes, we are too much work, but I guarantee you, baby, we are worth it. The Black American woman, she is so strong. You don't get strength from never going through a trial or a tribulation. I can tell you that right now, and the Bible says it too. You get strength from working. You get strength from being put through the furnace. When you go and you get these women from these other countries who have never been in anything, because you're not going to the Congo. You're not going to Rwanda to get these women. You guys are going to these nice, peaceable areas to get these women who have not been in war zones. You're going to these areas where everybody lives together communally and everybody's happy. You're not going to these areas to get these broken women in Africa because you've said, you know what, I don't want that drama, right? Because you understand that there is a level of brokenness that comes from getting a woman from a broken area. So your women aren't broken. I mean, your women are broken in America. So you go to get an African woman from an area that's not broken, right? So let's be clear about that. Please take her and get her something to eat. Thank you. So y'all, see, now I lost my train of thought. So these Black men that are running from the Black woman who has no support after they have participated in breaking the Black woman as well, after they have participated in sleeping with the Black woman because they know she's unprotected. It's like a man that goes and he preys on women who aren't protected, right? The woman who has no father, the woman who has no brothers, the woman who has no uncles, the woman who you can get away with doing these things to, because if you had a woman who had a social structure, who had a familiar structure, who protected her, you wouldn't even try it. If you look at Dinah, right? Dinah was out. She was playing with the, why is she back in here? Shut the doors. Get her and shut the door. Ariel. Come on, get her and shut the door, baby. Shut the door and then shut this door. If you look at Dinah, right? Dinah went, she was out in the land of Shechem, or whatever the land was called. Shechem saw her. Shechem loved her. Shechem slept with her. Wait, sex is marriage. If sex was marriage, why wasn't Dinah already his wife? Neither here nor there. So, right, she went, she apparently was okay with it. Hamor came to Israel and was like, hey, we'll be your people, you'll be our people, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then we see that Levi and them went and killed them, right, and made a stench amongst Israel, right? But Dinah was protected. And Shechem didn't realize how much Dinah was protected. Because even though Shechem tried to do right at some point in time, right? He shouldn't have slept with her without getting permission. We understand that, right? But he tried to do right, and they was like, nah, bruh. Nah, it don't work like that. You know, they already have their own little whatever. So, moving on. These men in America who are screwing over, hold on, I will wait till this truck's done. For the longest time, I thought this truck was setting off a car alarm for my neighbor. No, this is the way the truck sounds when it backs up. It's got a car alarm sound for backing up. It's crazy. And it wakes up my baby all the time, and it's irritating. Okay. So anyways, these black men in America prey on these broken women, prey on this broken family structure, and then after they're done praying, after they've sowed all their wild, they'll say, you know what? I'm going to go to Africa, and I'm going to get me a woman who isn't broken, who I haven't broken, right? You know what? Go, bro. Sisters, don't any man that says that you are not worthy because you've been through the war zone, because you've been tried and true, he is not worth you. He is not worth you. That is a man that's going to run from a fight every freaking single time. Let him run. Let him go. Please let him go. Because at the end of the day, sis, you're going to need a man who knows how to fight. You're going to need a man who's not afraid to lay down his life for his brother. You're going to need a friend. You're going to need a man who's not willing, who's not afraid to put his life on the line. You're going to need a man who's not afraid to say, no, stay at home. I'm going to go and fight. That's what you want. And so any man that, in my opinion, and this is just an opinion, any man that says, I'm going to run to another country, I'm going to run to another nation to get a wife, is a man that is not worth having, because that is a man that doesn't know how to stand in the fire. Point blank. He does not know how to stand in the fire. Are black American women hard work? Yes. Heck yes, we are. But are we worth it? Is having a woman that's tried and true, that you know knows how to put up a fight, that you know that doesn't bow down and break at every wind and sea and every wave that comes? Heck yes. A woman that knows how to go through struggle and financial hardship, so when you lose your job, when you can't provide, and she knows how to make it work, she knows how to structure those grocery bills, she knows how to go out there and hustle and get money for her family, whether she works or not. Those are the women who you want. So you can say that a Proverbs 31 woman is a woman who is a princess, who's never been through anything, who sits on her father's house, who sits in her father's land, who it says yes ma'am, yes sir, and bows down and doesn't give you a fight. You could say that's a Proverbs 31 woman, and to a certain degree she is. But a Proverbs 31 woman is a woman that's tried and true. And I have said this before. There is a difference between a princess who is dainty, whose foot never touches the floor, and a Proverbs 31 woman. And you got to pick which one you want, brothers. Because most likely, women don't know how to be both. It is hard to be out there and hustle. I'm here by myself in Belize, right? Because the way that our family has ended up being structured, my husband's in the States working, and I'm out here. I have to buy land by myself. I have to build houses by myself. I have to get stuff done. I don't have time to come to these men, especially in this country where these men do not respect women. They have the Hispanic, because even though Belize is in the Caribbean, they have more of a Hispanic hierarchy of men, where these women just sit down and shut up and stay in the house and cook and clean, and they don't go to school and get an education. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, right? But these men have a lack of respect for women. I don't have time to say, can you please build me a swing? Oh, you took my money? Oh, okay. Thank you. No, I got to get in their face. And if they don't like it, I don't care. I don't have time to be dainty. And these women out here, when the Proverbs 31 woman was out there buying land, it doesn't say that her husband was there, but she didn't have time. You got to get in there and you got to negotiate. You got to put on your poker face. You got to put on your game face. Whatever face you want to have on, you got to put it on. And you got to get in these trenches and do what you got to do. And those are women that are worth having. Sis, you are worth having. Do you have work to do? Yes. Does he have work to do? Yes. I have been married for over 12 years. And my husband has been a piece of work, and he will tell you that himself. I am a piece of work, and I will tell you that myself. I'm not perfect, but neither is he. Because the point of the matter is that in Black America, We are not being raised in functioning households. We are being raised in dysfunctional households. I grew up with a mother figure and a father, but I tell you this, it was dysfunctional, and there was a lot of emotional and mental neglect that I suffered. So when I came out and I was ready to get married, I had issues. My husband grew up with a father figure and his mother, right? So we both grew up in complete households. It was not, my mother was not there, but I had a stepmother. His father was not there, but he had a stepfather. His father was a trucker, and his father was always gone. He did not see how a man and a woman function together. He did not see how a marriage is supposed to work, because his father, but what he did learn from his father was to work and to provide for his family. That he learned hands down. And my husband has been the best provider, bar none. He has broken his butt to make sure that his family has, and we always have first. So he learned that. So there are good things that come from these unions. But just because you have a husband and wife together does not mean that these situations are not dysfunctional. These families that we are still growing up in are still dysfunctional to a degree, because we're still growing up in a war zone. You cannot raise a healthy family in a war zone and not think that these children are not going to come out with something. So when me and my husband came together, I brought some of those abusive things that I learned from my stepmother, but I also learned how to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and cook my husband's lunch for the day. So when he went to work, he had a hot meal. My husband, he came to this marriage not knowing how to work with a wife or not how to treat a wife, because he never saw his father treat his mother, or the things that he saw weren't the best, but he came in this marriage knowing how to work. And somehow together, right, 12, 13 years, almost 13 years later, we figured out how to keep this thing together. But it took work, it took fire, and it took trial, and it took tribulation, and it took turmoil. And we have 4 beautiful children, but it didn't come from fighting. So these brothers that say that you're not worth it, sis, don't worry about them. Let them go. Let him go, because in an inkling, in a blink of the eye, he's going to be gone. When it gets too hot, he's going to be gone, because he doesn't know how to fight. He doesn't know how to work for things that he wants. He wants something easy, so he goes and gets a woman. He takes his American money, right, and he goes to get a underprivileged, probably, I don't know 100%, because I guarantee the money that you're making in America is far different than the money that they're making there. But where is wealth, right? Is wealth in family and community, or is wealth in finances? So they are rich in family, community, and quality of life, right? But they are poor in finances. Same thing here in Belize. Here in Belize, they are rich in quality of life. And I tell this to my Belizean friends all the time. They think, oh, you're American. Oh, you have this. Oh, look, I got a tub, 2 different tubs of Legos behind me. And they'll look at that and say, oh, you're rich. Yes, I am rich in possessions, right? I am not rich in quality of life. Well, I am more so now, right? I'm not rich in quality of life, right? Because I have all this debt in America. So you look at the things, they look around my house, and your house is big, and your house is that. But look at all the debt that I have, right? That I've used to obtain these things. Whereas you have no debt, and you have land. So when we put all of our things on paper, right? When we put what I own and what you own, this I'm talking about from when I first got here, because I own land now. But when I but I still have debt, which they don't. But when we put all of our things on paper, right, and we put your land, and we put all of your assets on paper, and we put my assets, and we put my debts, and we put your debts, I guarantee you at the end of this spreadsheet, you're going to be richer. But they don't look at that, right, because they look at possessions. Most of the time, this world looks at possessions. Moving back to my point. So we go to this man who takes his possessions, right, he takes his money, right, and he goes to these people who lack possessions most times, but they are rich in quality of life. And then he wines and dines them with his quality of life. But that man still has all his toxicness. He's still toxic. He's still been in the war zone, and he doesn't know how to treat his African wife for the most part. But he's going to do better for this African woman because she has a family bond that is not going to allow him to mistreat her. Black American women don't have that, so they mistreat and abuse us all the time. Sis, let him go. Please let him go. He ain't worth it. I'm telling you now, he is not worth it. Let him run, because that's what he's doing. He's running from a fight. Let him run. Because when the mark of the beast sets in, when persecution sets in, he's gonna run. He doesn't know how to stand in the fire. Get you a man that when persecution comes is gonna go out there and get you something to eat, who's going to go out there and fight tooth and nail for you, who's going to go out there and make sure that his family survives. Get you a man who knows how to stand in fire, sis. So I think I covered all of my points. And if I didn't cover all of my points, then I've said enough, because this is what the Most High put on my heart. So I said all this to say, men who run to other countries have no backbone. They think that those women are better. The grass is always greener on the other side, baby. It always looks greener. But I'm telling you, it's not always greener. Black men have psychosis. Black women have psychosis. But it's something to work through it with a person who's been in the trenches with you. It's something to work through it with a person who's been with you when you was poor, who has been with you when you didn't have anything, when you were busted, when you didn't have a job, when you didn't have. It's something to stay with that person, to stay with the wife of your youth. And that's why Malachi says that. He says stay, to do right unto the wife of your youth. Because, yeah, she gets old, and she don't look like these 23-year-olds, and she doesn't look like these 30-year-olds, and she doesn't look like all these other women, and you're 40, and you can still push, and you still want another wife, and you get you another wife, bruh. But treat that wife of your youth right, because she put up with you. She helped make you into the man that you are now, that makes you a good man, that makes you even worthy to get a second wife. She helped nurture you just the same way you helped nurture her, right? She helped nurture you into more perfection. And the same thing has happened in my household. There are a lot of things that I have learned and gained from my husband. My husband has helped structure me and mold me and shape me into an amazing woman, right? But you better believe the same is done for him, right? There are a lot of things, issues that he had that he no longer has, that I had to suffer through, right? And so now when he gets a second wife, if he gets a second wife, that woman is going to benefit from all of my tears. And just like if he passed away and I got another husband, that man will benefit from all of his headaches. So, sisters, be a headache, it's okay, but learn how to get better. Learn how to sit down. Learn how to listen, all right? And that doesn't mean he could take advantage of you, because these husbands being bitter against their wives, their prayers are not being hindered. So you can say whatever you want to say about her, but at no point in time does the Bible say that our prayers are hindered. But these men who are bitter against their wives, who get on Facebook, who bash their wife all the time, who talk about their wives like dirty dogs, that's a reflection of you, sir. And if you're bitter against her, your prayers aren't being heard. So while you think you out here doing the will of the Almighty, I would like to tell you that, sir, you are deceived. All right, I think that's it. I think I've been on before you long enough. I hope this gets to the right people who need to hear this. If you didn't hear it, if you don't like it, I don't care. I tell people all the time, if the shoe fits, if you're angry, it's probably because the shoe fits. And if the shoe fits, lace that boot up and kick rocks, honey. I love y'all. To y'all, I'm back. I'll see you guys later today. I'll be on at 3 p.m. I need to get to teaching. I'm teaching today about the salt of the earth to the little babes. Yes, I'll have my head covered then, because I will be teaching the little people. I love y'all. Have a great rest of the Shabbat. Shalom.